drone should hit you in just a few seconds.
The Gregory Allen Elliot trial just finished, and it's not guilty, which is a huge victory for justice and free expression and, frankly, for liberal values. But the people complaining about the verdict are people who call themselves liberals. Go figure. For those who don't know, the Gregory Allen Elliot trial was a Twitter harassment trial in Canada. Mr. Elliot, formerly a social justice warrior type himself, really, got embroiled in an argument with Stephanie Guthrie, who you may remember from previous videos of mine, who did a TED talk where she openly bragged about harassing people and setting mobs on them. But anyway, she decided to take Mr. Elliot's trial after their disagreement, which was over details. It doesn't really matter. You can look it all up. It's all online. She decided to try and take him to trial for harassment. And there was no real evidence of any harassment. There were indications of some kind of conspiracy to get him. Basically, they decided to make an example of him and tried to use the legal system as a cudgel with which to beat him into submission. Unfortunately for them, he dug in and decided to fight back, and a lot of online people who believe in the value of free speech also backed him with money and assistance and help and so on. So he's been cleared. He's been found innocent. Hopefully he'll somehow find enough resources to counter-sue against the spurious suits, or maybe the government will decide to take Guthrie to court for bringing spurious cases and wasting time and money and things. But even if that doesn't happen, I mean, this case has been watched by a lot of people because not just in Canada but internationally, it looks like it's going to kind of set the mood, if nothing more concrete than that, for how we start to deal with these kind of disagreements online. And it set a hard line that, you know, mere disagreement, however vociferous, is not sufficient to take someone to court for harassment. So hopefully we'll see a decrease in spurious harassment accusations, you know, spurious court cases and so on, and a bit of a backing away, and people taking a bit more personal responsibility for their intake online. Because, you know, you've got block, you've got mute, you've got other tools to help yourself regulate what you take in online. You know, there's not really any need or any call for the government to get involved in that to this degree. I mean, there are genuine cases of harassment, but, you know, the odd dick pic in your inbox is not it. You know, harassment is a protracted pattern of behaviour from the same person, and that's not what went on here. They had a disagreement, it got vitriolic. You know, these are called arguments, and if you don't want to participate in them, then clear away from them, and that's the end of it. But yeah, so this was a lot more important than it seems on the surface, and I encourage everyone to go and check out what's been going on, and to look at the sheer reactions on Twitter. And Mr. Elliot had his life put on hold, ruined. He was not allowed to use the internet after an initial ruling when it all came to court. And he was a graphic designer, so, you know, he had to use his computer to work. So effectively he hasn't been able to work, and he's faced, you know, tens and tens of thousands of dollars of legal fees, which, when you can't work, you've got no way to raise funds. Yeah, they attempted to ruin his life. That was genuine harassment. All right, harm principle, there's your harm. Financial, reputational, all of that, it's all right there. Whereas the people he allegedly harassed suffered no harm whatsoever. Nothing they couldn't avoid, just the standard rough and tumble of discussion. So, victory for free speech, and there's plenty of implications and so on to discuss, but for the time being I'm just going to celebrate and be a little petty. Cheers. Ad Victoriam.